Yeah.
Welcome to the Infinite Human Talk Show with Elizabeth Monroy. Over the next hour, you'll learn how you can become part of the new consciousness renaissance by evolving yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, and socially to embrace your true divine infinite nature and become an infinite human and co-creator of the new infinite earth. Now, here is your host, Elizabeth Monroy.
Hello, my divine infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. And welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so pleased and very grateful that you have tuned in to this broadcast. Actually, I have earth-shattering news, and this should be the breaking news all over the planet, but of course it's not. But we are no longer on the same planet. We're no longer in the same frequency. We're no longer in the same reality. Our whole world has changed. And many of you that are energy empaths can sense that. But of course, the 3D Earth outside of us, same old, but they're feeling it. I promise you, they are feeling it. Even if they're trying to hide it, cover it up, they're feeling it. And why are they feeling it? Well, we've had, the Schumann Resonance, which governs that takes the temperature of our planet, has gone off the charts and is in a whole new frequency. So that's right there, scientific proof, that's accepted in the 3D reality. The solar flares, even the scientists are talking about these colossal solar flares. So I've been waiting for a sneeze or a solar flash. It's happening on and on and on. And we've entered, and every year, this time of year, this is kind of like a portal opening to really give a massive dump of energy in the Lion's Gate. And the Lion's Gate, is a corridor, and it's been going on for building the whole summer. But of course, 888, August 8, and this is, the year 8. And to me, 8, of course, is infinity. And it's all about laying the infinite foundation. And that's, in fact, next week I'm going to play the laying the infinite human foundation again. This, for me and for everyone, is the year of laying a foundation so that this shift could happen. And this shift has occurred. And today is also another 888. And if you're listening to this in another time frame, it doesn't matter. You're tuning into it when you need to hear it, when it makes sense to you. So, but this massive portal has just allowed all this energy, these high frequency energies, to stream into our earth. Okay. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got, of course, the Nomi wave, the silver seed, that is internal creation, that has been encrypted in the fabric of creation, that is inside now of our earth, emanating out, causing this Schumann resonance. And we have the Crystal River failsafe, which is host, which is coming through the sun. So we're having all that. And what you're seeing is just the scientists trying to figure out what's going on when we talk about solar flares and Schumann resonance. But this is all part of the plan. It's been prophesized, it's been talked about, and now it's really, really happening. And the opposition is kind of scratching their heads going, oh my God, what are we going to do next? And they're trying to pull out everything they can because their number's up. All right. So now, let me just pull you over a little bit about, if you're tuning into this, first of all, you're very highly genetically encrypted, which means, especially after this, you should really be able to understand a lot of what I'm talking about, and just be able to understand what's going on, reading the signs for yourself, just tuning in and having a whole another level of awakening, of heightened consciousness, and of just saying, oh, I get it now. Oh, capito. So, and that should be happening right now. But I talk, up and down, okay, because that's how the frequencies are. So sometimes I'll talk very concrete, and then sometimes I'll talk about very high-minded metaphysical concepts. And I follow, I guess, what I would call colonic science or the Christic path, and I integrate both the freedom teachings and the Asiana Dean latest work in what's called KDL3, but I don't want to get real technical because some of you might not know what I'm talking about. But why I follow this is because my twin soul, my partner, is no longer in the physical, but we still work together, and we worked together very much when he was in the physical, and now he still leads me and gives me signs and directs me, and he's directed me to this because it is the truth. It is the forbidden knowledge that should have been in the Bible. And I am thirsty for it because it explains so many things that have happened to me, so many meditations, so many activations I spend a lot of time with my twin soul, not on this earth, but on Eartha in Andromeda, the highest blueprint of this earth. And so a lot of things happen to me there that I can't explain. But when I go into these, when I find them, because they're bootleg, they're hard to find. When I find them, they explain so much. I say, oh, that's what happened to me. Oh, that's what they did. Oh, that's, and I'm encrypted to work with both the plasma and the internal and external creation. So I do both, and I do it without judgment. And I just take what is part of my story and resonates with me. And I always say, do the same. But the things I talk about, I think I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to teach you, but what I hope will happen for you, and maybe not. If it doesn't resonate, then turn off, move on. But if it does, it's going to awaken parts of you. It's going to awaken your multidimensional nature. It's going to awaken your higher selves, your avatar selves, your ascended master rishi selves. All these aspects, because it's knowledge that we've all had for many, many eons, but it was just mind wiped out of us as the Earth's history, the true history, was hidden. So I refer to that a lot. All right. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm talking about that. And I can't tell you where you can find it because most of it is, I got bootlegged. Which lets me know it's real. It's the truth, because, I have to get it from people that send it to me, and then I pass it around in my groups. So with that said, that's what's happening now on the planet. So now let's bring it down to you. How how are you feeling? How are you feeling? If you're anything like me, I've been in bed for the past 2 days, but I've also been in bed, most of August and even July, just on and off, resting a lot. And I did a video earlier that said, resting is very, very good. Okay. What happens? And I know it's hard, especially when you look out in the 3D world and everyone's running around, here it's August. So everyone's partying. In Sicily, it's when everyone comes to visit. But it was kind of nice for me because then I just kind of draw back from the 3D, busyness. But it's a time to absorb these frequencies, to just kind of let them run through your body. If you're working with plasma, just imagining rainbow plasma bathing all your organs and all parts of you and communicating with your DNA. And you can also work with the Maharic shield and cleansing your shadow bodies and attuning your external creation. So there's so many things that you can do. And if you don't know how to do them, then stay tuned, because I'm getting that I may be doing something to help people in that area. But it's really about you and finding what works for you and giving yourself permission to just, as we say here in Italy, dolce far niente. It's beautiful to do nothing. And that's something the Anglos, the cultures, America and British and Australia, we're always busy humans doing, not humans being. We're human beings. And in order to, when you relax and just totally open up all your cells of your body, you're allowing these activations to take hold and to really imprint and to really communicate with your DNA and your strands and open up the your DNA to the higher frequencies. Each strand of your DNA corresponds with a frequency. All right. So if you're just coming from 2 to 3 strands, you want to open them up to the higher dimensions of the 4th and not just the 5th dimension. There's so many more. There's 15 dimensions in our time matrix. So we have 5th dimension, 6th dimension, 7th dimensions, and those are all strands of your DNA. And you can embody those dimensions inside of you. All right. So that's why I say you're infinite. So, I've got some questions here. Sorry, guys. Actually, Nadine has a lot of information out there. It's fascinating, but taking time to fully understand it. Oh, I like that. Yes, and Ashiana Dean has, like I've just got a download of all her freedom teachings and I'm going through them. But, I just kind of go through, I just kind of let it come to me. And it's like whatever I needed, whether it's an activation or something, it just appears. And it was just what I needed at the time. And Ashiana Dean, the same person, now she's on Arias.com and she's offering a Hostmasters, a series which works with working with the plasma. So I just refer to her work, and I respect her as a speaker one. But I do think the time is coming for us all. I'm always encouraging people that have this information and that want to share their own personal experiences to come on the talk show. We've had a lot of wonderful people. We've had David Emery, we've had Eon Parks, we've had Olivia from Poland on here. We've had Amasol who's coming on next week, and we're going to have some more folks. And I love to have people that have this encryption in them with this information, this knowledge, to share their perspectives. And there's no right or wrong. I'm open to everyone's perceptions and opinions, and I think that's part of the new path that's coming about now. So let me just get back to the subject here because it's really, really relevant to you about integrating these ascension energies, because we are in such amazing time after this Lion's Gate. It's really positioned us into a whole new frequency, a whole new level of being. And I was talking earlier about dolce far niente. It's beautiful to just kind of just relax. We have siestas here in Sicily, so I'll get up and then do something and then go to sleep again and then do something else and go to sleep for the night. But I'm finding it's taken a lot out of me, and many of you may relate to this, because first of all, you may feel very, very tired. You may have aches and pains. It's dissolving implants, and I went through I talked about that with Dave Emery last week about really dissolving one of the Cadus reversal implants. This is what the medical the medicine uses, and it's really something not good. It actually inverts you and runs your sexual energies down into the ground to feed, the phantom levels and the fallen angelics. So I've just had so much of that dissolve. Now, when you have that dissolve, you just are releasing so many toxins. And I also found myself releasing a lot of parasites, organic and AI parasites, and all kinds of, I had a tooth extracted, which actually opened up my whole occipital right side, which had been blocked, which is my divine masculine. And this is my story. And I know I've listened to you all, and you've all been having health challenges, and you might even have it manifested in a physical organ or a physical spot. But know that that's huge, because as that heals, as that releases, you're releasing eons of implants and overlays and Metatronic reversals and all kinds of things that have been, positioned in your etheric and physical body to keep you cut off, to keep that veil in place from between you and the higher aspects of yourself. So all that is releasing with this huge inundation of energy, which is a very good thing. Likewise, just as the veils internally are releasing, we are also seeing a release in a veil. And I did a really great meditation that I found that Ashan and Dean did. And it was where this very highly evolved, non corporeal being came and worked with us. And we were able to put our hands against the veil and actually past, the veil of consciousness, which has kept us in the matrix, kept us asleep. This is the veil that's kept us unable to see what is really out there. And we talked a lot about this in the talk show and EM Parks. We talked about how a lot of people can't see the Tartarian architecture right in front of their eyes because of this veil of consciousness. This is what keeps you asleep in the dream that, like David Icke referred to, asleep, and not able to penetrate it. Well, actually, in this meditation, I penetrated the veil and went onto the Crystalla spiral, which is a consciousness. And, a lot of people talk about the Crystalla spiral, and I've seen a lot of people have talk shows about it and bring in people who talk about the geomancy of it. And, you can talk about it to death about all the angles and this and that. But it's consciousness. It's a consciousness. It's a consciousness beyond the veil. It's the consciousness of oneness. It's rising above duality. So that I feel, I did this meditation and then at the end she said, okay, now come back into the Metatronic reversal on the other side of the veil, the one that we've been living in. And I didn't come back. I refuse. And you know what? We've reached a time when we don't have to come back anymore. The veil has been lifted and we can now reside fully and completely on the Crystalla spiral. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ian Parks and I did a marvelous, groundbreaking talk show about this on November 8th, I believe, when the Fibonacci spiral and the Crystalla spiral split. And we talked all about that because that's really what's happening now. And this is before us, this huge pouring of energy, this major upgrade that has come to our planet, as much as we could possibly hold, that is now just, we've kind of done the 8 on the 8th, and now we're on the 26th, which 26 is 8. So we're on the closing 8. And we have been, we've been positioned into the Crystalla spiral for those that have, taken in all this energy. Now, are some people not encrypted to act now? Yes. Are they stupid sheeple, blah, blah, blah? No, they're just not. That's not part of their job. They're not tuning into my voice. They're not tuning in because they're not attuned. They don't have the genetics. They don't have the soul mission. They didn't come from perhaps the higher realms that many of you who are listening to me now, even if you don't understand what I'm saying, just the fact that you're listening, that you happen to turn this on a podcast or on your radio, when you're driving in the car or wherever you are, just the fact that you tuned in means you've got a job here. And you came here probably from very, very high levels of the God source world. You may be a Dashi adept, most likely. So, but you perhaps don't have all this awareness because you've been hidden. You've been hidden in and out of time. Your consciousness has been shut down so you wouldn't bring attention to yourself at the wrong time. And now we're going to see, because the frequencies are so high, we're going to see many people who've been protected. They're going to now be able to step out. And we're going to see this amazing things happen. Okay. So thank you, Indigo 1111. I love that. I love your comments. Thank you. So now I'm seeing a lot of people, and I saw someone that, works with Thoth, which I don't work with. Thoth, another name for Thoth is Lucifer. And a lot of people think he's, Jesus, or, well, that's a long story, or, they think it's great. Well, just so I can let you know, I don't work with any any entities. I only go directly to infinite source. And I feel I work with the guardians because I am a guardian. There's a part of myself that's very much connected to my monadic self that's part of the guardian races. And I feel like the time has come where we're all moving into speaking, about our perspectives, our soul mission, and sharing this information. I think it's really important to get this information out, especially the freedom teaching, since it's still not available. And that's part of what I do. I'm not going to talk about aliens. I'm not into aliens, the Galactic Federation or anything like that, because unfortunately, if you know the true history of our planet, a lot of the mess we're in is because of aliens or parallel universes, fallen angelics. But we're all aliens, okay? We're all angelics, but many of us are fallen. And that you hear David Icke talking a lot about the reptilians. Well, that's just one faction. There's also the Anunnaki, Luciferian Anunnaki, the Elohim, the new Elohim, that were very high divine angelic beings that fell and chose to fall. And Metatron and the Angel Michael family collective that fell. And all that stuff has been used against us. And many of those, you hear people talking about the Palladians. Well, those are Palladian Anunnakis, parts of a fallen angelic host that work within the Galactic Federation. So you're not going to find me talking about the Galactic Federation coming and saving us. They have their own problems. My whole talk show is about staying very focused as guardians of our Mother Earth, that this is our Mother Earth. We are here in form and we have a job to do, and we can take care of our own planet. And I'm not even about being part of the Galactic Federation until they get their stuff sorted out, because they have probably more problems than we do. All right. I feel like we're the center stage. Why does everyone want to be here? Why are there's such a huge population right now? Because the show's here, because the shift's here, because this is pivotal. And what we do here is pivotal. And there's some high beings. And when I talk about high beings, I'm talking about non-corporeal. Okay. Once you enter into having a body that's pretty solid, you're in the fallen levels of this time matrix. And so you've got your own problems. So I go vertical to the highest source, infinite source. I don't go parallel. So, and you're not going to hear me talking about solar flashes or med beds or technology that's going to save us. I'm not into that. If it happens, fine. But my perspective on medbeds is, if anyone's watched Stargate and you watched especially the TV series, they started using these it's like those sarcophagi medbeds that could bring you back to life and regenerate you. And of course, if I had someone that I loved, I would put them in there. But they started to use them on a regular basis, and they got very, very addicted to them, and they started to change their genetic structure and their personalities too. So they started becoming like gods, and they started becoming very, let's just say, fallen angelically. So I'm not supporting that. Yeah. Okay, good. So now I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to address this that Indigo's bringing up, and that I've had a lot of you. Gina brought it up. I'll just name you from Louisville, and I live in Sicily now, but I'm going to Kentucky the 15th of November through the 1st, and I'm going to be in Louisville. So if you want to get together, check in with me, and I'll let you know where I'll be in those states. And I'll also be in Cincinnati, Body, Mind, and Spirit. But a lot of people have been asking, and a lot of people that are waking up now, they're waking up, but they're going, okay, wait, now it's even more confusing because I'm waking up. Who do I believe? What's real? How do I know what's real? All right. And that's a very good question, because right now there's so much out there. Social media. I mean, everyone on YouTube has an opinion, has something they're telling you to do, to believe, to follow. And it gets very, very confusing the higher up you go. So, yeah. And so here we go right here. Thank you very much, Indigo. So I'm always going to say, and in my book, The Infinite Human, that I wrote with Peter Monroy, a physician and my twin soul, the message is always go to you. You are infinite source inside of you. Now it's a journey. It's infinite. It's an infinite journey. So you're never going to be like, oh, okay, I know it all. I mean, if you do, you're in trouble. And my favorite quote, and David Icke loved this quote, and so did Eon Parks and Dave Emery, and anyone that I really respect believes the same thing I believe. This is my motto. The more I learn, the more I realize I know nothing. So you have to always realize you're always learning. But and we had Faye on here 2 weeks ago about energy. You can start to learn. First of all, you learn to trust yourself, and you learn to read energy. Oh, thank you. That's what. She says, thanks. You help keep us on track. Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I have to be perfectly honest. I am just like, I would probably, if Peter was still here and I had grandchildren, I'd probably just be like all into them and just lazy and not even get into this. But Peter keeps me on track, because when he died, I was like, where's my twin soul? And he leads me and keeps me going, because he is, and it was terrible. I hated losing him. I hated not being able to make love to him every day and touch him and see his beautiful smiling face walk in the door, and my heart flutter. But because of that, he is ascended, and he has a much higher perspective. And I helped him. I got him out of here by exchanging codes with him through our sacred, sexual alchemy. And now he's getting me out of here, and he keeps me in line, because, and I have to say, that is an ace in the hole. But you learn when someone tells you things, you can't not hear them. That's the thing. So I hope when I say things, they spark memories in you, because the truth is, we all know this. We've been there. We were perfect, divine, infinite, angelic beings. So it's about remembering, not learning again. And this person, Gina, was, sent me this school that she was, should I join the school? And it was one of those, esoteric schools, hermetic science, teaching the cabal, and all this was new age. It was the fallen geometric patterns that have kept us enslaved. And I understand we all want to learn, but right now I think the best, okay, this is what I was trying to say before of how to integrate these energies. First of all, and my spiritual teacher said this, be smart and lazy. Okay. He used to say, learn the art of doing nothing and be smart and lazy. So what many of us have gone through these past 2 years is we've been isolated. Lockdown, I think, was in retrospect one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I was in this beautiful villa in nature, and I just stopped going out for things. I stopped that addiction to the external 3D world. And many of us have lost, families, friends, relationships, and we found ourselves isolated, and it's been difficult. But, okay, this is going to be kind of tricky, because it's a good thing. Okay, why? Because we're learning we're all one. Alone is all one. All right. And we're learning to trust ourselves, first of all, to go inward. And we have to now, with this shift, okay, I'm going to say this was a shift we went through. And everyone's been using the word shift. And we have shifted timelines or flash sequences, shifted our reality, shifted into a whole nother multiverse, a whole nother harmonic universe, a whole nother earth. Okay. We've shifted our reality. That means we can no longer play by the 3D rules. All right. So what does that mean? Okay. A lot of people, and I started this off by talking about someone who followed Thoth, said, it's a time to manifest, a time to get out there and make things happen and accomplish your goals. Yes and no. And I'll say no, because we don't want to go out there in our 3D mindset. in our 3D bodies. We don't want to go out there and, try to, get the 6-figure coaching practice or the blah, blah, blah. All these are 3D constructs. And what we want to do now, okay, is really what it means to ascend duality, move beyond 3D into 5D, 6D, 7D, onto the higher dimensions and be a multidimensional infinite human. All right. That's the shift that's occurred. That's how you integrate these frequencies at the highest level. Okay. So I'm going to take a very short break. And when I come back, I want to talk about how to begin to be in it, but not of it.
For more empowering words from Elizabeth Monroy and Dr. Peter Monroy, check out their latest book, The Infinite Human, an ascension guide for starseeds, twin souls, and awakening infinite humans, the co-creators of the new infinite 5D Earth. You'll also find many spiritual books to help both children and adults in their ascension back to home to infinite God Source. Isn't it time to be part of the new consciousness renaissance? If this resonates with you, please subscribe to our website at infinitehuman.com and become part of our growing Infinite Human family.
Welcome back to the Infinite Human Talk Show with your host, Elizabeth Monroy. Do you have a question or comment for Elizabeth or her guests? Please call us at 888-346-9141. That's 888-346-9141. You can also text or email your questions and comments to infinitehumanproductions@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back. I'm Elizabeth Monroy, your host, and we're talking about how to integrate these very powerful ascension energies that have poured through during this Lion's Gate. And if you're not hearing this at this time, it doesn't matter, because it means there is no time. So you're tuning into these energies, you're picking them up, you're integrating them whenever you're hearing this. And it's integrating them and how to really move with them and use them. And I talked about moving beyond the 3D, mindset, so that you're really working with and accessing and co-creating with infinite God Source, which feels different. And many of you may begin to feel, perhaps right now, coming on the other side of this, I thought, yeah, I'd feel great. And I know I'd have such clarity. I'd know exactly, and everything would happen just like that. And I realized, wait a minute, no, I'm actually been feeling a little uncomfortable, because I'm realizing that the clarity that I had was based on a lower frequency. And now I'm up in a higher frequency, and I'm kind of feeling like, it just combobulated a little, just my body is just kind of like strange, because it's integrated so much of these plasma energies, and I'm still kind of trying to, it's just communicating with my physical body, and my physical body's going, well, what do I do with all this energy, and which is why it's good to take it slow. And then in terms of my visions, my dreams, my soul mission, I had a kind of a set idea, and that idea is not happening at all. Which I know it's time to have faith. And I know it's because something better is coming. I just know that, because I was trying to make everything happen with my little pea brain, and I have a little pea brain, and the infinite source knows so much more. So this is something I have been saying to myself, and I think it may help you just to kind of deal with things, because sometimes when you wake up in the morning, I know I do, I'm like, oh God, plan A didn't work, plan B didn't work, I'm on plan X now, so what do I do? And so I just kind of give it up to God and say, that kind of mentality of, I am now the highest version of myself, okay, on the highest timeline trajectory or flash sequence, being of the greatest service to Mother Earth and humanity by passionately sharing my unique gifts and talents with love. And I just think that really covers everything. Being the highest version of yourself on the highest timeline, being of the greatest service to Mother Earth and humanity, passionately sharing your unique gifts and talents with love. And do something that we humans, especially women, because kind of tend to be a little controlling. I know I do. Peter used to always give me a hard time. He's like, you can't control everything. Oh, no, don't tell me that. But, we have to open up and let the infinite source in and carry us and guide us. And it's going to be good. It might be uncomfortable for moments. It might feel a little, oh my God, where am I going to land up? I'm planning a big trip, and they always give me a hard time about Kiki's a service dog and bringing her on, her papers aren't on the computer, and so anytime you just kind of, let yourself out as a traveler, it's kind of like the Fool card, anyone that knows the tarot, where they have faith though, and they have faith in themselves and they step out with this faith. So that's what we're being asked to do. We're being asked to start having faith in ourselves and to make our home inside of us, infinite God source. Whenever I start getting confused, whenever I get rubbed the wrong way, whenever I'm out there in the 3D world and, I get triggered or something, I thank God I have a space, and I think everyone needs to have your own sacred space. Even if you're living with other people, you need to have your own room, and if you're in a partnership, make sure you can have your own space, like a sacred space. You can go and just connect deeply with infinite source, because this is the key now. And David Icke said this, which I really liked, because it's what I've been saying for a long time. When you step into the matrix is when you start to identify with the finite aspects of yourself. Okay. I am a woman. I am a doctor, a lawyer. I am this age. I am American. I am poor. I am rich. I am, those are finite masks that you wear, but you are infinite. And you need to, in many times I do it, I meditate and I go into the void just to visit that energy, to kind of, coalesce and gather that infinite energy about me. And then when I'm infinite, then I step out into the world and have my day. I'll play, Italian. I'll speak Italian to this person. I'll try to speak Sicilian, speak English to this person, Spanish to this person, or whatever. I'll speak at their frequency. I'll speak, out to you. You're hearing me from a higher level. And, and that's being like water, because we're all water. All right. But we might be vapor. We might be snowflakes. We might be, a stream. So, but the truth is we're all water. So that's being in it, but not of it, if that makes sense. And that's how we need to be now. So this addresses the question in a roundabout way that people have been asking me. How do I know what to believe now? There's so much stuff going on out there. How do I know what to believe in politics? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? How do I know, which spiritual teacher, which spiritual person's telling the truth? How do I know which YouTube videos to believe and to follow? How do I know what to believe? And so many people are asking that. Well, one of my spiritual teachers, one of the best things he ever told me was, Peter's making me say this. It's all shit. Pick your layer. And really, there's some truth with that, because it is all shit. It's all just a story. It's all just a put up job. But there are certain things that are part of your story. There's certain things that resonate with you. So I say, if you can remember you're infinite, turn on a video. I'll watch certain tarot. I love the tarot. I know that it's got fallen stuff in it, but I can discern. I'll turn on something. I'll listen to this. I'll listen to that. Even if I'm hearing, mainstream media, I'll look and I'll pull out. First of all, I'll see beyond the veil, and there might be some gems in there. If there's not, then I just turn it and move on to the next thing. But right now, we're all awakening, and we're also rewriting our life story. Okay. And that's the theme that I'm going to get more and more into, rewriting our life story into the heroic version of ourselves. So there are right now so many versions of you running around all over the planet. I'm sure outside of Sicily, my door, there's probably me, in the ancient temples here, doing some rituals and stuff. And I mean, there's so many parts of you because there is no time. And these are all going around. And I used to always ask, but why am I here? Why am I now? Why is my consciousness focused on me, Elizabeth Lee Monroy, or whoever you are? And that's because we're in an ascension cycle. And we have the opportunity, if you choose to accept it, your mission, should you choose to accept it. So brilliant, wonderful opportunity to rewrite all of your life stories, all of your identities into one heroic you. And this is it. You're listening to me inside of this identity that you have, whatever is on your driver's license or your passport. That's the one lifetime, the one that's going to get yourself back out of the matrix and back home to wherever you came from, maybe different for all of us, but back to infinite God source. All right. And you're going to do that by rewriting, by assimilating all of these aspects of yourself, healing the trauma, and moving out of the victimization, the being a victim that you have experienced in so many different lifetimes. So that's what this lifetime's all about. So I hope that helps you to understand how to. Sometimes you need to go into and listen to the new age crap, because there's something about that, in a lifetime where you practiced that or whatever, and you needed to understand something from that. Or, I mean, every day, there's movies that have certain stories that relate to you. There's spiritual teachings that might not resonate anymore, but you need to hear certain aspects of them. But don't be ever a follower of anyone. Even when I talk about Ashiana Dean or Speaker One, I don't follow her, but I'm sure glad she has done all the work she's done. It's helped me remember so many of my lifetimes and understand a lot of the trauma that I experienced that couldn't be explained from my lifetime because of the hidden history. So, it's important to allow yourself and trust yourself enough that if you follow this person, if you listen to that person, it's not that they're bad or they're evil and they're going to steal your soul. You're a very powerful, infinite human being. You can delve into everyone, but realize there's always more to learn. So I hope that answers the question, because I know so many of you have been getting almost nervous, almost fearful about, oh my God, who do I follow? Who do I believe? You follow you. You believe you trust you. And it's a process. It's something you have to develop, because everything since inception, since in the womb, you've been brainwashed and conditioned that you have to, sit down, shut up, raise your hand, go to the back of the line. As children should be seen and not heard. You've been taught that, and you've been taught always, you know nothing, and the experts know. The teacher knows more than you. You know nothing. The doctor will tell you about your body. All that has been going on for so long. And every day you're being challenged to trust yourself more. Okay. So that's what we're doing now. Now, how does this all relate to as we step out into the 3D earth with this integrated energy. All right. So what I see and what I'm talking to people, and we'll be talking more about this, is first of all, once you rewrite your life story, so you're a victor, you know what you're doing, you're healing yourself, then those of us who are at that level, at that frequency, I'll just say, are going to be called to come together. And so many of us, it's almost like Close Encounters when everyone was seeing the Devil's Tower or something. People are getting these new Earth community vibes. They're getting the downloads, and they're going to look many different ways. But I do see them happening all over the planet, and they may be just a house. They may be people who hang out and do permaculture and grow things. They may be like eco resorts, which is more my speed. And I see, for me, my job is to create several of these eco resorts around Europe and around the Americas, and there'll be places of very high frequency, places where people can travel to, not necessarily stay all the time, because that's part of how we need to learn to come together. We need to not come together all, like the miasmic ancestral families that we've been so, bundled up together, and we've all been like one identity and not able to express our uniqueness, our freedom, our opinions many times. And we've been, this is what you do, and our parents have been, brainwashed and conditioned, and then they pass that on to us, and then we pass that down and down through the generations. But we're going to have to come together again, just like in and out, in it but not of it. And I think these communities will be like that, where people can come and stay to take, do spiritual retreats and workshops. They'll be more like spiritual retreat centers, where some people may invest and buy into it, and it will be their spiritual retreat centers too, but they may come and go. They may stay there part of the year and not part of the year. And there'll be a lot of healing and very high energy, information taught. It'll be a whole new center of teaching and learning beyond the teaching and learning that we've had so far in the 3D paradigm. So that's what I'm seeing, happening. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yes. And of course, the most important thing you got to do is become the guardians of the land and grow your own food. If you're not growing your own, that's imperative. We all need to be, living in communities where we're growing our own food with permaculture, and we're coming together with the animal kingdom and the Deva kingdom in a much different way. And I'm saying these things because I think this is part of the new shift, the new paradigm that is now opening up. People are going to be sensing that. And Faye Semple, who spoke not last week, but the week before, she said everyone has where you live is not by accident. So you're being guided. And she said, just lay your hand on your heart and just kind of get a sense of where you're supposed to be. And it may be several places. I know for me, I'm supposed to be here, and I'm also traveling to the Yucatan, but there may be several places that you're being guided, especially now, to move to. So open yourself up. And like I said, it may feel uncomfortable because you might not have like, oh, I have a job that's going to take me there, or I bought this place and I'm going to move there. You may be asked to just buy a ticket, get on the plane, just have total and complete faith, like the fool stepping off the cliff, but knowing infinite source has your back. And that's what I think this is the best way to integrate these energies. When you rest yourself up and you take your cues internally and you just kind of go with faith, you might not have any idea of how it's going to turn out. And that's why it's a time of great faith. You really need to believe mostly in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust you can tell. If you get yourself in a situation that's, you'll know. You have so much. You're running such high frequencies right now because this Lionsgate really bumped you up. So, and you can get yourself out of it, because it feels icky. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like not my space. And you just say, okay, thank you very much. No judgment. People can continue that space, that energy can continue in its way. And, you will begin to just flow with creation, with the spiral, the beautiful spiral of creation, of life. And that consciousness will begin to move you where you need to be with the people you need to be with. And it's time. You just need to set the intention that you want to be in a place that you love, an environment of high frequency. And you want to be surrounded by people who love you, who support you in your soul mission, and who share common visions with you. So that's where we're going right now. And, if you just let yourself open itself up to it, then, it'll happen. It's going to happen. The energy is here now. So, and I said before, rest and don't get too busy in the 3D, because I almost made a commitment, buying something in the Yucatan. I realized it was in a community that I would have been invested in, that's not near to what I want. And that's what I worked with a gal who's a remote viewer, and she said, I see you and I see two paths, but you're not choosing either one. You're above all that. And I said, I'm forging my own path. So there's the take home for today's whole talk show. Okay. Cause I'm running out of time. All of you right now who are listening to my voice, who have gone through the Lionsgate, who have gone past go, collected the 200, you've collected your higher frequencies, and you're integrating them. You are now carving a new path. You're not following the old roads. You don't have choice path number. It's not even the two timelines of 5G or 5D anymore. You are creating your own path in the higher dimensions with infinite source that has your back. All right. And you're creating it. How? Through your creativity, through your own intuitive bursts of downloads, through your refusal to participate in the fallen 3D socially accepted norms that aren't working anymore. And you know what? People are going to love you. They're going to love you. I know. I've been there, and people have always hated what I've said, like, what? They are going to love you. Why? Because their systems are broken and they know it. Their food is poison and they know it. Their banking systems, their governments, nothing that they used to hang their hopes on is working, and they're hopeless, and they're looking for someone to show them a different way out, to point to a different path. And you're creating the path. You're the vanguard. You're the founders of the new earth, and they want it. They're not sure what it is, but they want it. And so get yourself on that, get yourself settled, make sure you have your boundaries. All right. So yes. And, I love all these people. I'm so glad they're sharing things. And I take from everyone. I don't get into the split in the war. I'm very grateful to Jamie. I think he's got so much wisdom, especially about how dark and deep and dirty it can go. It's just everyone interacts with people, and I just think it's so wonderful for people to share this stuff, because it's really hard to get this information. But I don't do duality. I'm not like, this is the good group, this is the bad group, or I like I just take what resonates and what I feel is part of my soul mission. And I think, and I respect everyone's encryptions, unique encryptions and paths. So that's wonderful, though. I'm I just love all these people who are getting out there and sharing this wisdom, because it needs to come out now. It's really important. And some people need it because They are indigos. They're aquafarians. They come with higher genetics, but they're just waking up now, and they don't have. They need this information to help them wake up more. So, all right. So next week we will have Soul on. Oh no, I'm sorry. Next week is Labor Day, so we're gonna. It's gonna have the Infinite Human Foundation, and then starting in September, we're going to have Amaso on, and also Tony Dennis, who's a Christic musician. He writes the most beautiful music. And we're going to be talking a lot about communities, co-creating new earth communities, and really they're Melchizedek cloisters. So we're going to be talking about that. And also, I know some people, if you're hearing this on my website, I don't do it a lot, but sometimes I try to show up and support you in helping to find some clarity if you're really having issues right now. So I've discounted my time because it's my time. I charge for it, and I would it way low than what I charge. In fact, I usually don't do coaching or counseling or whatever, consulting, because my time's so precious. But I know I hear a lot of people kind of like, help, there's so much going on. And so I'm offering the soul mission and the infinite human coaching. So it's on my website, and please join my website, www.infinitehuman.com. And if you haven't read The Infinite Human, it's very, very helpful. And it's also an audiobook on my website, and it's there for free, but I would ask you to donate something like at least €9 or something. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Indigo, for all your wonderful comments and questions, and I love you guys dearly. And please reach out to me anytime, because I love to hear from you. And so I will turn myself over because I got 1 minute and see you next week. Ciao for now.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Infinite Human Talk Show with your host, Elizabeth Monroy. We hope today's episode has inspired you to join the new consciousness renaissance and be the change by reclaiming your true divine infinite nature within and becoming an infinite human and a co-creator of the new infinite earth. Tune in next week for another empowering episode. Until then, have an infinite week.
All right, terrific. We are clear, Elizabeth.
Okay, Matt. Thank you so much. Have a great
You're
week.
welcome. You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.